Munson here from Expats Portugal with the Good Morning Portugal show. Look who's on the screen. She's staring into the currency exchange live on air. Has there been a change, Sarah, in the last few minutes? Is that what you're looking at?
Well, that's the thing. It is changing all the time. That was the thing I was going to mention. It is actually changing every second. It moves that quickly. So, even if you're looking at the price now, if you looked at it in another 5 minutes or even, an hour, it will be completely different. So when comparing prices, I think we've said it before, it's always best to do like for like. You can't sort of say compare a price today from a exchange you did yesterday or last week or even an hour ago. It does change, and the rates can move quite dramatically. So you might think, I didn't get such a good, but it's moved. It can move really quite quickly and quite dramatically.
It's the world we live in at the moment, isn't it? I guess that was always the case, but especially so at the moment. And we'll be talking about how to deal with volatility a little bit later on. Thank you for joining me this morning, Sarah. Once a month from Spartan FX. If you have any questions about currency or foreign exchange, do put them into the comments right now. We've got a lovely... We don't often talk about Canadian dollars. We're dominated, aren't we, by euros and US dollars. And the Canadians sometimes, in all sorts of ways, don't often get a look in. We've got some nice stories from Canada this morning. But first, let's say hello to everybody. And a lot of you will know Sarah now. So say hello to Sarah, everybody. Bon dia, good morning, everyone. From Andrea, who's here already, as is Stephen, as is Mark and Francis. This is the Good Morning Portugal Mafia here, sat around the table, waiting for their spaghetti and meatballs. Bon dia a todos. I'm not sure how far I can extend that metaphor. João F is here. Now, it's Portugal experiences today. After we've had a chat with Sarah, we're going to look at a few experiences that have come in from the community. A visit to the Lisbon Oceanarium, the aquarium there in Lisbon. We're going to talk about João F's... what is this thing, João, that you're involved in? It looks something to do with Distinguished Gentleman. Let's bring it onto the screen. We'll return to this. It's the Distinguished Gentleman's Drive. Stay tuned for that and maybe start growing a moustache of that kind. Men and women are welcome to do that in this age of equal opportunity. For that rather special drive that's happening next weekend, we're also talking about how you can hire our very own Owen, who's an incredible, I'm going to call him an artisan chef who sources local ingredients and cooks up a storm in your kitchen. So we've got some pictures as well from the table of Owen, actually at Garvo's house, from the spiritual home of the Man Cave. So stay tuned for that. And I do have a Cascais sunset for you to close out the show, and a couple of shots. Actually, let's do the Algarve shots now, shall we, Sarah? Let's have a look at this before I ask you what the weather's like in the UK. There we have a rather nice picture of the Algarve from Paul. Thank you so much for that. And another one from Paul here. Look, the boats on the beaches in the Algarve there. Big fan of the Algarve, in case you didn't know, is our Paul Richards. Okay, so all of that to come. But in the meantime, yes, news from Canada. Have you had a good news story from with a Canadian client?
Yeah, a couple actually that we've been dealing with recently. And I think the example I wanted to gives a really good example of how we can help customers sort of watch the rate for them and give that guidance. So, for example, we had a customer recently from Canada who'd sold a property. So they had a set amount of Canadian dollars and they really wanted to achieve 150,000 euros. But the rate wasn't there. They were only going to get about 149,800, so about 200 euros short of what they really wanted to achieve. So they really, in their head, they thought, well, they'll wait because they really want to get that 150,000 sort of in their mind. But speaking to their dealer, it was actually my colleague Neil this time. They were talking about what was happening in Canada around Canadian elections, around what's happening in Europe. And actually for 200 euros, that the sort of guidance there was, is it really worth the risk to wait longer for that 200 euros? So the customer decided that they would go ahead and they exchanged their money, less 200 euros that they wanted. And what happened is that the rate moved about 3 to 4%. So actually, if they'd waited and they'd done it, they'd have only got about 146,500 euros.
Ooh,
So
okay.
they would have actually missed out on a few thousand euros. So
well done. Well done, Neil.
Exactly. So that's the other thing to bear in mind, that yes, we are watching out for a better rate of exchange, and we do have customers that are moving their money in advance of needing it because they're taking advantage of those rate spikes. We'll go into that a bit later with the German elections coming up. But the other side is actually, the other thing that we do is try and protect you against rate movements, so that you are trying to get the most for your money and that you're not actually going to lose out if you did wait.
Yes.
Those are sort of guidance we can give people.
Okay, so that's good to know. We have a Neil as well as a Ben, as well as a Sarah at Spartan FX.
Yeah, we have a few. So we've got Gary, we've got Daniel, but Ben's actually on holiday in Spain this week. So if you do want to speak to it, Neil has taken over to look after the Expats Portugal community. So you'll be able to speak to Neil directly.
So Ben's missus put her foot down, did she? You're not taking your phone with you and talking to all those Expats Portugal people from our holiday in Spain.
Absolutely.
To Neil. Okay, have a great holiday, Ben. Well, you're not likely to talk to him. He's relaxing and taking it easy, but we wish.
I'm sure he's probably speaking to people around the pool about their money transfers, trying to help them.
Superb. Yes, if we know Ben, that's going to be true, isn't it?
Is.
So Jim White was at the VFS yesterday. Look at this. Bon dia todos. A successful D7 meeting with VFS Washington, D.C. Thanks to Gilda and Christina. Now the waiting. Oh, that's good. I'm glad you had a good meeting, Jim. Great news. Maybe see you tonight on the Spiritual Portugal show and we can celebrate again. That is fantastic. So happy for you, says Andrea. Bon dia from Maxine. Hoje o primeiro dia de outono, the first day of autumn today. Of course, it's the autumn equinox, isn't it? For those people who like to dance around, well, not the maypole, of course, because that's the spring equinox, isn't it? What do people dance around on an autumn equinox, everybody? Do pagans in the audience do let us know. Cindy B, hola, bon dia, alegria. Good morning, Cindy. How are you? And I was just thinking, I am going to say this out loud. Cindy, you've seen the sorts who might dance around an autumnal equinox totem of some kind. Cindy, I think you'll know the answer to that. Forgive me if I'm wrong and have been rude and out of line there. Bon dia, Toro from Capricorn 12. Good morning to you. What's on your playlist this morning, Capricorn 12? Give us a good one from the jazz funk canon, if you will. Wonderful news, says Cindy B for Jim. And Joao as well. We're all very happy for you here, Jim. Quem espera sempre alcança. A Portuguese saying, whoever waits always achieves one's goal. That's very Zen Portugal, isn't it? Excellent. Okay, that's worth making a note of as well, with the way how some things move and the cultural shifts you have to make. So whoever waits always achieves one's goal. I think they have that in the finances office up on the wall, and government offices, government waiting rooms. It would be a good idea. Elra Linda, good morning everyone as well. Paul Richards, whose photos we showed earlier on. Thank you for those, Paul. Greetings from Harrogate. Well, not from Harrogate. Well, from Harrogate. Well, come on, punctuation, everyone. Well, another nice day here in North Yorkshire. I'm pleased for you. Autumn in Yorkshire is going to be very pretty, isn't it? How is the weather where you are, Sarah?
It's nice, actually. It's interesting. I was at the beach actually on Saturday, Goring by Sea, which I hadn't been to before, which is near Worthing, and the weather was beautiful. It was almost like it was summer again in September. So really lucky. And I tried paddleboarding for the first time.
How did it go?
Yeah, it went really well. It's probably the worst place to go because it was on the sea, and in the morning it was really windy, so it was really choppy. And right. The woman that I hired the board from said, the conditions are not ideal. I thought, great.
Oh, for your debut in the water?
But sorry?
For your debut on the paddleboard?
Absolutely. So, wow. No, it was good. I enjoyed it. But I hear, speaking to a few people, it's quite popular now abroad. Some people in Spain said it was popular. And I know I spoke to Astrid and she said that they have paddleboards as well. So it's becoming more popular.
It does look like a really cool way to travel around a bay if you're good at it, but probably not if you're not. If you spend more of your time in the water than on the board, it's probably a bit embarrassing. But I have seen some very cool people just, slowly drifting through San Martino de Porto Bay, for example. People pulling up there at lunchtime, looking like they're going for a lunchtime paddleboard, and they just scoot around the bay a little bit, put the board back on the roof, get the wetsuit off, get the work clothes back on, and go back to work. Sounds like a lovely thing to do.
And you don't have to stand. You can kneel, so that's easier. And you can stay on quite well and not fall off, actually. And you're right, people just, it looks good.
Yeah, there are those who make it look easy. I just think it would look a bit. I wouldn't want to be a kneeler. I just think people would be sort of quietly laughing, thinking he's not very good at that. That's why he's kneeling down. So maybe I need to go and practice a bit before I can, go pull off the real expert look across the bay there, where we'll be living soon. But that sounds great. And Britain, we do have the bragging rights on the weather here in Portugal. But a beautiful day in England is a very special thing, I think, and it sounds, especially by the seaside there. So that sounds wonderful.
No, it was. We're really lucky. As I said, we haven't had a great summer, so it's nice to have the odd day here or there now.
Yeah, and one of those brilliant British names, Goring. I mean, who would name a place Goring? But there you go, near Worthing there. Jacqueline CDM's also here. Hola, bon dia todos. Do you paddleboard, Jacqueline, on the Silver Coast? Probably best in San Martino Bay, isn't it? Rather than on the Atlantic coast there. Bon dia, pastores bonitos, beautiful people from Victoria. Only 9 days now. Keep that countdown going here, will you? Please, Victoria. I touched down in Portugal in those 9 days, in 9 days' time, with my freshly minted visa. Woo! She says. Deagle McKillen, bon dia, Carl, from a blue sky Belfast. Okay, so it's a lovely day around the British Isles there. And in Northern Ireland, bon dia, alegria, desejos a todos, boa terça-feira. So a great Tuesday from Matty, do volta ao escritório e ao trabalho. Contando dias para regresar a Portugal. He can't wait to be back, I think, is the message there. And I still can't get over how you put on 7 kilos in 14 days. I don't want to keep going on about it, Matty, but there's a book there, isn't there? The kind of before and after book on the Portugal diet, really. Jim White saying thanks to everybody, and the congratulations still keep coming in. Look, Victoria's at it as well, as is Matty. On that milestone there, another step in the right direction. Hey, Jana da Silva is here as well, the purveyor of excellent wines. Not for me for another 10 months yet, but Jana, how are you? Great to see you here in the audience this morning, and all the community saying hi to each other. Whilst you're here, everybody. Yeah, sorry, that was a bit quick, wasn't it? Hiya, Sarah from Victoria. Let's dwell on that for a moment. Whilst we're on that matter of our community here, I've been talking to Astrid and Jerry about our forum community and our YouTube community. I mean, a lot of you here are YouTube community people. Could you let me know how many of you are in both communities? Because that's how we'd like it, ideally. We want to encourage more of a connection, a holistic view of being a member of Expats Portugal. So, if you're one of the 9,000 members on the site, or one of the 8,000 YouTube members or subscribers, are you one or the other, or are you both? Ideally, we want people to be in both camps and getting all of that benefit. Paul, yes, shout out for Ben. Paul got me 1.17. That's good, isn't it? Euros to the pound. So glad I use Spartan FX. Nice little testimonial. Write that one down, Sarah.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. And the rate has certainly sterling euro has dropped. So great that Paul transacted his money when he did. So it's good.
Yeah, all about timing. And we have Matty saying as well, bon dia, and a happy countdown to Victoria. Francis saying hi to you, Sarah, this morning. That may well be an exchange of Portuguese, not Portuguese, what am I talking about? South African rand, they're called, aren't they? And that's not good at the moment, I understand, from another correspondent I have. We're looking for a pickup in that rate, aren't we?
Yeah, so the only thing for us with South African rand is a little bit trickier to sometimes get it out of the country. So you might find that a little bit challenging with some of the paperwork with that. So just bear that in mind.
Oh, okay. Thanks for that. That's a good tip. Good to know. And is that a timing thing? So you just allow extra time for that sort of thing?
I would give yourself extra time for that, to look into how to do that and make sure that you've got everything in place. You don't want to find that you need to move your money and then it's harder to get out. You've got paperwork and it's delayed, especially if you're maybe purchasing a property or you're paying for something like a NIF and you've got a deadline that you need to meet, or you're moving country and you want to do it before you leave, again, just give yourself plenty of time. Again, with all currencies and all home countries, again, we've said it before, always best to just double check. You just don't want to find yourself in a position where you've moved country and you're finding it difficult to move the money, because we have seen examples of that, and customers have had to fly home in order to rectify it, which is an expensive problem. So
Absolutely.
Often the other thing to bear in mind is, yes, we're watching out for the rate for you. Yes, you're thinking, right, I move the money when I need to, but it could be a case of, can you move your money in advance because there's a rate spike, or can I move my money in advance just because it'll make it easier for me? A lot of people we are seeing are moving money now so that either they're prepared. So we've got a customer that's moved some money. They're going to go across to Portugal soon to look for property, and they just wanted to make sure that they've got some money available in their account. Should they see anything, they're ready to go. Others have moved it just to make it easier so that they've already got the money there and it's one less worry for them. So everybody's different, but there are those sort of options to bear in mind as well. I think what we were saying to people is that, who you decide to use or how you're going to move your money, a lot of it is personal preference. You can do it online yourself and just do it on your own, or you can use telephone-based service like us. We do have an online platform as well, but what we're finding is that when people come to actually make the transfer, they suddenly realize that, yes, I need to speak to somebody, just need that reassurance and support. I've got a question to ask. Is it a case of you just need help with inputting the IBAN number, the international IBAN number? You're not familiar with that, you're not sure how to do that. The other thing that we do as well is that we're always double checking the beneficiary account details for our customers, whether that be you're paying a lawyer or even your pool man. You're giving your details either by an email or they write on a piece of paper and they give it to you, but human error, they might have put down a detail wrong, or maybe when you're inputting it, you've read it wrong. So we always ring the third party and just double check that those details are correct. Because if it does go to the wrong account, yes, we can get it back. You can always get it back if you're using a other broker, but it can take a little bit of time. So we just try and avoid that and make sure that we're double checking everything for you to make that easy for you as well.
Good to know. Okay, and Francis, make some. I'm sure you've made a note of that, and of Sarah's caveat about moving South African rand. Palantir Fellowship are here. Bon dia, Carl and his lovely family. Thank you, Palantir. That's very kind of you. And hi, Sarah, as well from Palantir Fellowship. What's your actual name, Palantir Fellowship, if you don't mind me asking? Hola, bon dia from Penjgozo on a bright but very breezy morning. Yeah, that's how it's happening at the moment, isn't it, Paul? It's a bit fresh in the mornings. When I was out this morning with the dogs, it did feel like that. But look at this behind me. Sun's coming up, and I can really feel it on my back now. Going back to moustaches, I can't grow a moustache or a beard. Can I rather grow a mullet? What do you think, Sarah? Can we allow people to grow mullets in our community?
Everyone, I think it's everyone should be able to do what they want to do. Why not? The thing is, if it's something like that, I think you grow your hair, you don't like it, you can always cut it back or it'll grow out. That's how I always think.
How tactful of you. I'm going to say no. You cannot grow a I'm going to save you from a public shunning, and you'll thank me later. We have the distinguished gentleman motorcycle ride in South Africa as well. I'm struggling to see my screen with all this sunshine in it. There's a good problem to have, right?
I'm just going to shut my window. I think some people are mowing their garden and it's quite loud, so I don't know if that's impacting how people can hear me.
It's not the pool man, is it? Oh, there she goes. I love how Sarah uses the example of paying your pool man. For some people who are old enough to remember the pools man, he used to come and collect the money in the 70s, didn't he, with your pools coupon to see if you had got the score draws right and if you were going to win millions. And remember to check the box of no publicity, or publicity if you wanted it. Matty, also in Amsterdam, is the distinguished gentleman's motorcycle. I didn't know about this. Okay, so there's a thing around the world of distinguished gentleman motorcycle rides and probably other kinds of tours, other kinds of vehicles, mostly cafe racers to be. What is a cafe racer, I wonder? Let's see. Back to Palantir Fellowship. How is your vacay going? Sorry, I really am having a lot of sunshine on my screen, as you can see from behind me now. My husband, it's going great. I mean, I'm still in Martignal resort in Cascais. It's fantastic. I've got the sunset to share with you. Just went out for a walk last night with the dogs again. And because they allow you to bring dogs here, which is a fantastic policy. And I took them out, and I thought I'll walk down to the bottom of the road, and there's the Atlantic just down, a couple of minutes walk away. And I thought I've got to put this video on Expats Portugal on Facebook, and I've lifted it off there to show you and end the show with that today. So Lewis and Palantir Fellowship will be coming over to Portugal this coming summer. So looking forward to seeing this beautiful country. Yeah, quite rightly so. 10% off at Martinhal. If you want to take advantage of a real treat for yourselves here in Cascais or Sagres or in Lisbon, Chiado as well. And their residences are being built at a pace in just up from the Park of Nations as well, near Orient. Tom is here as well. Good morning, all. Bon dia. Gary, Owen tells me he likes to be seen as a cook rather than a chef. Okay, because chefs do it for the money while cooks do it for the love and satisfaction. Do you like cooking, Sarah?
I do like cooking. I don't do it enough, but yes, no, I do enjoy cooking.
And I think there's some truth in that, isn't there? And I actually I like it when people describe themselves as cooks rather than chefs. It does sound a little bit. It's probably a title that should be bestowed upon you by other people as chef, I would have thought.
I think I enjoy cooking and it tastes good. It's presentation I struggle with. I think that's the difference maybe between me being a chef and a cook.
Yeah, so it's all about the presentation. What tends to happen then?
Well, when you go in a restaurant, it's just always, the way they played it up. It just looks, whereas I suppose in your own home, you sort of, I don't know, it just never looks as neat and tidy, I'd imagine, as it does in a restaurant.
Couple of ladlefuls dollops on the plate. Okay. Bon dia, Toros from Fiona this morning. Lots of people that want to say hello this morning, Sarah. We pagans absolutely celebrate the solstices and equinoxes. Of course, Cindy, but how? How are you going to see the autumn in today? That's what the Gaz bar is missing, a pole. Only for official occasions, of course, lol, says Gary. And I'm sure you can get that on OLG. But then again, I mean, do you want to be the sort of person who is seen to be ordering a pole for a basement? I don't think so. Good morning from a beautiful Gaelish this morning from Jacqueline Branco. Joao F. Precisely, it all started with motorcycles. And I think for the first time in Portugal, the Automóvel Club de Portugal is promoting this gathering of classic cars in Lisbon near the Museu do Coche, the Coach Museum. Lisbon has a museum for everything, I would say. And this is where this event is starting at the Coach Museum, which is very, very special indeed. I'm aware, Sarah, that we might be holding you up from some important work that you'll be doing. So could we talk about managing a little bit more, managing these fluctuations? Justin Trudeau, apparently, you talked about the Canadian elections, and Justin Trudeau's managed to squinch back in, but without a majority. This is how it's going all over the world, isn't it? And the German elections are coming up, and you think that might have quite an effect on things?
Yes, absolutely. So we're talking about sort of taking advantage of rate movements. Obviously, we've got the German elections coming up. Usually around election time is one of the things that can cause a lot of uncertainty in the markets, because usually it's, no one knows really what's going to happen. If we take a look at kind of the US elections last year with Biden and Trump, still up to the end, nobody really knew who was going to get in. And then obviously on the back of those, there could be a new leader. Then there could be new key members of staff in place. There could be new policies. There's a lot of change and a lot of unknown of how that's going to impact the market. And certainly with the German elections, there's lots of different coalitions. There's lots of different options that could happen. And also Merkel has been in power for quite a long time now. So quite kind of stable rock, really. So with her going, there is going to be definitely change, because someone else coming in, as I said, might have different policies. What's that going to look like? And the other thing to bear in mind is as well with Germany, they're such a powerhouse of Europe. They're I think it's like 50% of GDP is Germany. They're such a big economy and therefore have a lot of impact on the EU. So anything that happens around this and change of policy and how it impacts will have quite a big impact. So what we find is that actually on the lead up, we're seeing a bit of euro weakness. So actually customers are taking advantage of that. There could be about a 0.5% rate movement. So it is worthwhile around elections to be registered with your foreign exchange broker, because if you're registered, it's completely free and there's still no obligation to trade. but it means you're in a position to take advantage of any rate movements. And I've seen it before around, as I said, especially US elections, for example. Rates move very, very quickly, as we said at the beginning of this. The rate moves really quickly. You want to take advantage of it. You ring up, your account's not open. Yes, it doesn't take long, but that rate could have moved. So it's always great to put yourself in a position so that if there is rate movements, the dealer, your personal dealer, can keep you up to date with what's happening, and then you're in a position to transact that money if it's in your favor. And often what happens with elections as well is that a lot of uncertainty, the rates move really quickly, but then they do stabilize. So we saw that last year when Biden came in. Once Biden's in, once the next person's in, once they we know what their policies are, what that looks like, the markets tend to then stabilize, because we can kind of have an idea of what that's gonna look like. It's more the uncertainty of who's going to get in, and that's around sort of the lead up and the day of sort of the elections. And when that new person or the old person stays in or leaves, that's when we see a bit of volatility. So it's all about putting yourself in a position that you're ready to move that money should you need to. As I said, people focus on moving your money when you actually need it for that transaction of, I'm moving country, I'm buying a property, I'm paying my landlord for my rental property. But as I said, we are seeing a lot of customers that are moving their money in advance because of rate movements. They can take advantage of that. The other thing that we're seeing is that, we say to people that we offer very competitive rates. We're very transparent with our pricing as well. So there's no hidden charges. It is all in the rate. Whereas what you'll find is with some sort of online providers that, yes, you've got a very good exchange rate, but there's often hidden costs in the background, whether that be transfer fees. And also one of the fees that we're seeing as well is we had a customer that used Wise recently, and they moved their money, but they didn't have a bank account open. They moved it in advance because of the rate. They were holding the money on account, their euros on account, for about 2 months. Now, Wise actually charge you to hold money. They were charging him 0.4% a month on amounts over 15,000 euros to hold the money. So in 2 months, the customers charged nearly 1,000 euros just to hold that money on account.
So that's worth knowing about.
So the customers actually transferred the euros to us, and we've been holding it for them. So yeah, just to avoid those sort of charges. So often you find that there's hidden charges that you perhaps weren't aware of. But as we said before, sometimes that guidance on the rate is actually where we save our customers more money as well. Yes. Giving that support. And as I said, everybody's different. It's all sort of personal preference. But we find that really does help. And as I said, especially around some of these elections and things like that, just have a chat with your dealer, and they'll be able to give you guidance on the rates. And even if you follow it yourself and you're very good at that, we have a lot of customers who are in certain jobs that they monitor this on a more regular basis, but they still want to speak to a dealer just to add in that extra knowledge that they perhaps don't have, or complement their own knowledge. And again, sometimes it's not your day job. You're moving to Portugal. There's so many other things that you need to look into. I think really it's just one less hassle to worry about if we can offer you that support.
Yeah.
A few customers, quite a few members of Expats Portugal have used us. The reviews from those customers are in the directory, so please take a look at people that have actually used us, so you can see how they found the support that we've given them as well.
Great. And they're happy customers here this morning, real live ones, like Paul Richards, who was singing Ben's praises earlier on. And I know that he's got a few cold beers ready so when he's back from Spain, he can consider another holiday in the Algarve, I think. And then, Mrs. Ben, when it comes to Portugal and everyone's buying them drinks, I think she'll feel a bit better about these 11 o'clock at night phone calls from the likes of Mr. Richards. And of course, when you, like you say, when you open up an account, you can actually, you could be at a lunch, couldn't you, somewhere, or with friends having a drink, and you can say, excuse me, I just need to take a call from my personal currency dealer here. Oh yes, hi Ben, how are you? Or Sarah or Neil. So you get that perk and benefit socially as well. Sarah, thank you so much for popping in this morning.
No problem. Thank you so much for having me. I feel quite zen just watching your screen with the trees in the background and the sun shining through.
I was upstairs before the show, and there were a couple of little birds just sat on the balcony. It was almost a Bob Marley song, and it was just so delightful. I was transfixed for a moment. But typically you grab the camera to take a video and then they fly away. But it is beautiful. Look, I'll get out the way so you can see it.
Beautiful.
I'll fall off my chair.
Nice.
Yeah, there you go. And we've moved all the swimming cozies that were hanging up on the drying rack out of the way, so the view's nice there. Sarah, thank you so much. Regards
I've
to
actually got one last thing actually. I know a few people have sort of said on the forums about sort of using debit cards and things like that. So what I wanted to bring up was, everybody's at different stages and everyone's doing different things. So some people are, paying for a visa, some people, are buying property, some people are rental. Everyone's doing something different. So it's always about finding the right solution for you and your current situation. So we have customers, for example, who have used us. They're in Portugal at the moment, but they are using their Euro debit card with their new account. I think it was with Millennium actually, and they're also using their US debit card as well. So again, that might just fit your solution. So in that instance, the customer is still using the debit cards because they haven't transferred all the money at this stage, and they're just paying for a meal in a restaurant. So it's easy to do that. So again, it depends what your situation is. It may be that that's the right solution at this point in time, is to use a card, whether it be through a provider or with your bank. The local bank is always the best one to use a card because it is local to that country. There'll be less charges because you've already converted your euros, and there'll be no fees on you using that card. So that'll always be the cheaper option than using your US debit card. Having said that, as I said, if you at this point you don't want to transfer all your money, but you're over there and, as I said, you want a meal, then obviously you can use your US debit card as well. But then obviously when you come to do your NIF purchase, or just want to top up your account, or you're paying your landlord, or as I said, a property, then you will need to obviously make an international transfer bank to bank rather than using a card. Some cards, as I said, might be offering you a better than a tourist rate. They might not have any ATM fees, but are you getting commercial rates on the larger transfers? And that's really where our service comes into play more, is on those sort of larger transfers. We're able to save you more money and give you more guidance on those. Whereas if you're just paying for a meal in a restaurant, those are smaller amounts. The difference is I suppose a couple of euros.
Brilliant. Okay, and how long till the Spartan FX card comes out?
We haven't got a card at the moment. I think for us, it's all about focusing on our key service. And I find that kind of, we can invest more in the technology that we've got for customers. Like we have named accounts. So the account is actually in your name, which is slightly different from a lot of brokers. And what is beneficial with that is if you are buying or selling property, sometimes we find that lawyers won't send to third parties. They need to send money to an account that's in your name. So it just really helps maybe with the audit trail of the money as well.
Okay, and I asked you that as a joke, really, but you've obviously thought about it. The Spartan
FX. Absolutely. And sometimes you find I've worked for other brokers in the past and who have had cards, and the process of linking the two accounts isn't very streamlined, and there's always more problems, I think, that the company can sometimes encounter. And I think we want to offer the best service for our customers, and we're able to do it with the products and services that we have.
Brilliant. Clearly thought it through. No Spartan FX card for the moment. There are better solutions, as Sarah is saying there. Sarah, thank you very much. There's the link on the screen, expatsportugal.com. Go to the business directory and look up spartanfx.com, and you can create an account with Sarah's wonderful firm, Spartan FX. Have a great day.
No problem. Thank you for having me. See you soon.
Bye. We'll see you soon. Maybe Ben. We'll see Ben with the suntan.
Yeah, Ben will be next. He'll be tanned from his holiday, probably.
Okay. Ciao. Bye for now.
Bye.
See you. I think I've had a message in saying it's a bit echoey. It might be because this is a villa, open plan. How's that? Are you hearing me coming back like a Swiss valley? So sorry if the acoustics are a bit rubbish from that point of view. Let me know if oh no, she's gone now. I can't put that up. It's me live from Martin Kashkash. Yeah, if the sound is not great, I'll get closer to the mic and I'll whisper a bit more, but I hope that's better for you now. Okay, yes, many thanks to Sarah Davey, Fire Davey, as we christened her last time she was on. Fire Dave, I think, had a great event. Was anyone at Fire Dave's financial Independence gig. Can you let us know how that went? My ego is being checked, everybody. Look at this. Stephen Wells says, Carl, that is your ego talking about not kneeling. It is. It is. I've worked so hard to get rid of my ego, Stephen, but it just keeps coming back and taking me down. But yeah, I don't want to be laughed at by teenagers, really. I know that's my ego talking again. Can you imagine seeing like teenagers on paddle boards and they're just like, like, as they do, not a care in the world, passing you on their paddle boards, and there's me hugging mine. Just looking really embarrassed. That's not a good look for a man of my standing or for a man of my kneeling in the community. João Ferreira, I am not in Portugal and sold my classic Opel Senator years ago, says Matty. But once I've moved and got another classic, I'd like to join. If not, I can use my motorcycle. So this will mean something, won't it, to bike aficionados? The Kawasaki ZX10 from 1988. Wow. And I think we've had a picture in, so we will have a look at that. I think this rich seam of gentlemen's rides is a good one this morning, and there are pictures coming in. There are also pictures from Hank and Connie this morning. The tour t-shirts have been designed, so we'll have a look at those. And daughter Minnie, she has been wearing her tiara to most of our sort of public gatherings here and going for breakfast. I've got a lovely picture of Minnie wearing her tiara and eating a pastel de nata, and she's in a quite blissful and heavenly state as she is eating, committing the pastel de nata, the mini-sized pastel de nata to her belly. I'll show you that lovely picture as well before we go today. So yes, Matty, hey, good morning from Elra. How was the stay? He put on 7 kilograms in case you didn't know, and Matty's saying that's the translation of my opening sentence. Here we go. What he said earlier on was good morning, Joy. And I wish you all a good Tuesday. Back in the office and at work, counting the days to return to Portugal. I think we need a calendar, don't we? Like the Expats Portugal calendar, where you can, with a big marker pen or a Sharpie, so you can cross off the days until you get back here. Patricia Gorst is here as well. Hey, Patricia, good morning to you. Bom dia a todos. And João F saying to Matty, that would be great. Just become a member of ACP, and that you can do at a preferential rate. We've got a perk of some sort with ACP. It escapes me right now, and one of my colleagues may pop that in the comments. Don't forget, as you can see from the ticker tape, we want you to join the community, the forum. And actually, we'll have a quick look at that in just a moment. I am on 3 communities. Okay, Matty, well said. Well done. YouTube, Expats Portugal Forum, and on the Facebook. There is our ideal. There is our ideal right there. Thank you very much. Subscribers to both. Thank you, Cindy B. Thanks very much. And I'm a premium member, says Stephen, on the Expats Portugal forums, but still have not got around to posting there. Okay, it's the thought that counts, Stephen. But thank you for letting me know this, everybody. That really helps. And yeah, becoming a premium member helps keep us going, obviously. There is an echo, or is it just me? Just me. I don't know. Is it just Jim, or can anyone? Maybe you've got 2 tabs open. We had that problem yesterday. Hola, bon dia. I'm too lazy to use Facebook, YouTube, and the website. I check in here every day, and so that's why I haven't joined the others. I'm sorry. I'm a bad community non-member lot. Not a problem, Rebel Mama. And that's what we'd expect from Rebel Mama. You do what you want to do, and you're not going to conform to all these demands that you join 3 different platforms. I totally understand that. Just interested to know, okay? And you're not a bad person. João F. planning on joining the ACP. It's a good move because there's all sorts of perks and benefits once you've joined them, and we give you a bit of a perk to join up with ACP. But thereafter, they offer all sorts of stuff, and it's very good value. After the move is when Matty's going to be joining the ACP, and he's looking for help matriculating all his vehicles, and you're going to need it. Quite frankly. Thunder's here, and we're going to have a look at Thunder. I'm glad I waited. We're going to show your aquarium video in just a moment, which will be a nice little change for everybody. So to come, I think we'll do that next in just a moment after we've said hello to everybody and looked at the comments. But we're going to go to the Oceanarium in Lisbon, thanks to Thunder Duck's video, which we'll spin in just a moment. We're going to look at the aforementioned gentleman's, what's it called? Let's get the official name of this right. So we're going to look at, yes, the Distinguished Gentleman's Drive. I could do that, Tash, I think, if I work a bit on that. It's just the headgear and pipe that I haven't got yet. Anyone here still smoke a pipe? I wonder. As we've got our sunset on the Atlantic coast just down the road here in Cascais, I can see me Barnet is being highlighted by this backlighting. My old Arthur Scargill Brillo pad is not coping very well with this. The old Bobby Charlton. That's why I wear headphones. To hide the comb over. Any other coiffeur tips gratefully received? Where to tuck the shredded wheat when you're live on air. Oh, that was coming from the back. That's all right. We need more from the back on the front. So that's a step in the right direction. So Thunder, yeah, we're going to debut your Oceanarium video in just a moment. And we'll talk a little bit about Owen the cook, not the chef. Who is available for hire in central Portugal. Gemini's here. Good morning, everyone. Hey, Gemini, how are you? Antonio F. also here. Michelle. And I was meant to ask you earlier on this morning, is it lay minor or la minor? I think lay minor, okay. And is that Dutch? I wonder. Bon dia, Carl and Sarah. What do you think? Oh no, we missed this one. What do you think is happening with the Aussie dollar value in the future? Michelle, as Sarah recommended, open up an account. It doesn't cost you anything. It might be good to strike up a relationship with Ben or Neil there, or Gary, I think was mentioned as well, right? One of the team over that way. Jim White, it's just you. It's just you. It's just you. Very good, Stephen. Hope that you've sorted that out, Jim. You might have two tabs open. That sometimes is what causes it. Too short and over too quick. As Carl said, I gained 7 kilos of weight in the 14-day vacation. Come on, Carl, get a grip. But lost already 2.5 kilos again. Well done. He's up and down like a yo-yo, that boy, isn't he? Carl, are you still in that posh hotel? Well, what do you think, Paul? This is not my back garden is nice, but it's not quite this. It might be in time. I'm gonna go with this little view here. That structure you can see is the what are those things called? That particular structure. Not a biosphere, but you get the gist. Like a biome sort of thing. It hasn't got any skin on it. It's just a structure at the moment, which I suspect they clad that in the winter months to make that outdoor pool a little milder and warmer. But that's the pool right behind me. I was in that pool yesterday with the kids, having a great time. Their swimming's come along brilliantly. And Mrs. M was able to walk to the top of the garden there and hand me a cup of British tea. But it was a perfect moment. It was a perfect moment. So yes, I am Paul. Thank you for asking. Martignal Resort in Cascais. Hola, bon dia from Hank. Hank is here. We're going to show his t-shirts in just a moment. Thank you for sending those in. Good to see you all, says YouTube member Hank there. For classic vehicles, there is a branch of ACP called ACP Clássicos. So that's good to know. Elra, healthy move to Portugal happens to all of us. Don't worry. Especially when you come to Portugal and have the rice and the chips and the salad and the fish or whatever it was you had, Matty. Taking Derby and Dublin, my Himalayan cats, or Himalayan. Do you say Himalayan or Himalayan? I worked at the Geological Museum years ago, and I worked with some very posh people there, and they would all to a man or a woman say the Himalayas. I remember when I was on a dig in the Himalayas, that sort of thing. To me, it's the Himalayas. To the vet this morning for their health certificate checkups. Okay, so Derby and Dublin preparing for the journey to Portugal as well. So many great people to say hi to by name, so I will just say everyone. Thanks, Hank. Stephen Wells, thank you. Jim getting into the spirit of it. Has it sorted itself out yet, Jim? Morning to Hank from Victoria and Frank. Hank, not Frank. I often get Hank and Frank. Did you get to meet Frank, Hank, when you were here? I wonder if you didn't. I hope you will at some point. I'll be using Spartan FX for moving my monthly pensions from the UK. It's a great service, says Paul, and Paul is quite the consumer guru, I would say. He knows a good deal when he sees one, and he knows good service when he sees it. That is a glowing endorsement from Mr. Richards there. Patricia says as well, Spartan FX are brilliant. So helpful. Isn't that great to hear? Hank, hi guys. From that's to everyone again, isn't it, Hank? Yeah, so many of the main taxpayers are leaving South Africa, says Francis, that they're focusing on many ways to keep the money in the country or to attempt taxing you on so much when you start looking at moving it out. Dear, oh dear, yes, a sociological phenomenon there, which some of you are trying to deal with, a political phenomenon. Hi, Victoria. Who are Derby and Dublin flying with? Is Michelle's question. And that is a good one. Who are the best pet carriers to Portugal? Let's find out this morning. Carl, can you grow a mullet? Yeah, well, personal choice and all that. Yeah, I think we're on the same page with that one, Stephen. We're trying to save, was it Francis? We're trying to save Francis from social shunning here. We need an Expats Portugal motorcycle ride. We do. Not that I've ever ridden a motorcycle, but I think there would be quite a take up on that, wouldn't there? A great idea. Sun God Ra looking down favorably on Don Carlos De Niro. Thank you, Thunder. Hey, talking to me? I can't grow a mullet anymore. And there comes a moment in every man's life. But what you can do, if you can't grow a mullet anymore and there's more hair on the rest of your body than there is on top of your head, you can grow one of those sort of, what could we call it? A retirement mullet, where you forget that you haven't got much up top and you just let the sides grow really long and you might have a sort of quite a loose ponytail at the back. That's the retirement mullet, isn't it? I think, Hank, it can be a good look on a certain kind of gentleman. I'm not from Australia or New Zealand and don't plan to move there, so the mullet is a definite no-go for me. Michelle, what do you think? What do you think of Francis's comment there? What is a mullet? Says Maxine. Can somebody please, um, bring maybe get a collection of mullet pictures together, mullet.com or rate my mullet or something like that, so that Maxine can find it. I mean, you'll know exactly what we're talking about, Maxine, when you see it. You might just not be familiar with that particular terminology there. Capricorn 12 saying today is a southern freeze mood. Yes, the opening of that tune is very, very special, isn't it? And even jazz funkers know that one, don't they? When I saw you on the floor doing the Southern Freeze. Good morning, Astrid. Look, I'm working it, Astrid. We're seeing who's connected to both the forum and the YouTube channel this morning, and we will have a look at the forum as well and look at some of the most recent posts on there. So I will share that on the screen. And isn't that great, Astrid, that you can't see me in many ways? And there's more sunshine than me this morning. Good morning to you. Thanks for joining us, Hank. Thumbs up from Max Flight, that rare bird, Max Flight, joining us this morning. Good to see you, Max. Maxine, business in the front, party in the back. That is the best definition ever of a mullet. Now she knows what we're talking about. Remember, spot the ball. Cafe Racer is a motorbike. Okay, all right. So again, in people's rush, Garvo, to communicate with me, we're missing a full stop there, or a question mark. Remember to spot the ball. Yes, I do. And wasn't that great that Grandma thought she would know where the football was on the thing? You could have a few choices, couldn't you? And how they figured that out, how they figured out the winning position in those days, it must have just been down to an adjudicator, right? Because there's no digital technology in them days, was there? To make sure that it was absolutely in the right place. So I wonder if they just had a lot of fun with that in the is it Vernon's in the Paul's office and the spot the ball office, and then question mark Cafe Racer is a motorbike, and we're going to come back to some pictures that have started to come in with that. So Linda and Lewis at the Palantir Fellowship, and the moniker is from Lord of the Rings, and it's at these moments when I feel quite ignorant and that I should have known that. So thank you for that, Linda and Lewis. Looking forward to meeting you here in Portugal. Hank, you organise one, I'll participate. That's the spirit. Max, there's a delegator, a management material, right? Cafe Racer, think Triumph Bonneville. Okay, I'm not that familiar and aware of motorbike culture, but I do know what a Triumph Bonneville looks like, I think, or that kind of genre. And I think I've got an idea of what it sounds like too, more importantly. Carl, check WhatsApp, sent you an image of a typical Cafe Racer motorcycle. We'll come back to those. We're going to go to the aquarium in just a moment. Victoria Benson, once you get here, you'll find that traveling back to the USA with your pets will be so much cheaper. When I came over, it cost more than 300 euros. Dollars, but from EU it's less than 100. No FDA fee by the sound of it there, says Andrea. In Germany, they're all called cooks, cock, and one is the chef cock in a restaurant. Cook, chef, immigrant, expat. Yes, well said, Maxine. Bon dia do Sejal in Gilda country. A midlife crisis well taught. Have you just got there? I wonder. And is that your ancestral home in Portugal? Excellent news. Bon dia todos. It's a beautiful first autumn morning in the hills above Caldas de Rainha. The air suddenly felt a bit fresher last night. I'm hoping the tiny biting insects will go into hibernation now. Or worse. Whatever it was that's been nibbling at me, and I think it was something smaller than a mosquito when I was in Lisbon. Really awful. So especially when it gets you on the toe or on the knuckle. Why do they do that? Is it because the skin is thin there and they get easier access? I think the equinox is actually tomorrow, and Mrs. M would absolutely know this. I should have checked before opening my mouth, but I don't often bother, do I? Carl's like the penultimate scene from Raiders of the Lost Ark with God's wrath shooting from his eyes. Well, thank you. No one's ever said that to me before, funnily enough. Hold on a minute. Lost a load of comments there. We were trying to find ubium minimum. Oh my goodness. Everyone, hold up. We need to go to the to the Oceanarium in just a moment. Happy Spartan FX customers. Oh my goodness, we have got a lot of comments. The 1 ton club aspirants race from one cafe to the next, getting hyped up on caffeine and vitamin pills, says Ubi. Pretty much a British invention. Well, funny that, given that it's about being hyped up on caffeine and vitamin pills. The equinox is 0204 tomorrow morning in Portugal. Thank you very much, Thunder, for that. But the style holds up and influenced a lot of bike designs, mostly a street legal, small, medium-sized non-cruiser chopper style. Okay, thank you for that. Eric's here as well. Bondi from Washington, D.C., planning on retirement in Porto in the next 6 months, hoping there is a good time to exchange my American pesos soon. You know what to do. Have an account with Spartan and they will give you the options. Not advice. I don't think, as with all of these things, it's not advice. It's scenarios that they give you and you choose. Morning, Carl from a sunny Skipton says, James, are you looking for that backlight, dark and moody look? Yeah, you should have seen it last night. I was like a protected witness last night in full silhouette when we did the gardening Q&A, which we do on a Monday at 6:15. Cindy, good morning to you, James, by the way. Happy Spartan FX customer as well. Good to know. What is the fee to move $10,000 into euros, and how is the exchange rate determined? That was asked at 9:31, 20 whole minutes ago. Maybe go straight to Sarah for that, Thunder. I'm so sorry I didn't see that earlier. Cindy B, she's doubly happy. Thanks for the info, says Hank and Max. Thank you, Sarah. Very clean and unambiguous. That is the sort of association we like to have. Max, wouldn't that be awesome? Once we arrive for the long term, we'll have to have some serious discussions. And then, jump on your choppers. You're right, Thunder Duck. Someone in the comments said it was the first day of autumn today, but I looked it up and it's tomorrow. Still, the days, the 21st, you could be forgiven for saying the 21st, can you? Still, the days are shortening, so I'm hoping the midges will go, says Kate. Thank you, Sarah. Yes, clear and unambiguous. Okay, so the program, we'll come back to that, Joao. We need to go to the aquarium now. Thank you to Thunder for this film, who's also saying no echo, the sound is great. I think your processing is doing the job. Fantastic. James Rawbone says sound is fine, but your image is very blurry. Yeah, I'm on the laptop camera. Maybe I should give it a little bit of a wipe, but they're not great, are they, the laptop cameras? When we get settled again, we'll go back to a better definition camera, James Rawbone. But some people think that's a blessing, that I'm in a kind of Vaseline focus. Too many Bifanas in Casa Benfica Mate, accounting for the 7 kilos there. I got an old soft tailor's measuring tape and cut off 1 centimeter each day, as the German soldiers do to count down their service days. Well, that's interesting. That's very symbolic, isn't it, as well, that you actually get a pair of scissors out and chop a bit off an old soft tape measure. There you go, Victoria. That's one way of doing it. Kaldash Diranya folk, have you been to eat at Cairo? Oh, yes. It's Middle Eastern food and delicious, owned and run by a lovely Egyptian woman and her husband. Aren't they lovely people? We were in there before we left the Kaldash area recently. And the husband disappeared out the back of the shop and brought back a piece of Egyptian ephemera for the kids, and then they were having a joke with them, saying, have a picture taken with Granddad here, the Pharaoh on the mural there. So yeah, what lovely people, what lovely food, lots of yummy veggie dishes as well as meat, says Kate there. And Jerry's here. Jerry and Astrid this morning. ACP, thanks for this, Jerry. That's exactly what I was looking for. 25% off your first year of membership for premium members and 15% for community members. They're the freebie ones, the premium ones, which we love the most, who help us keep going here. 25% off that. And I think those of you who have paid 47 euros, will you tell the others that it's worth every euro of that, with all the benefits that you get? Not least a daily breakfast show, morning show like this, where we all get together and have a bit of a giggle and watch beautiful videos like this one. So let me show you the video from the Oceanarium now, with grateful thanks to Thunder, who you know and love here every morning. Here we go. Put your swimming cozy on. Let's go swimming now. This is a safe way to swim with sharks, everybody. Great job. Wasn't that beautiful? Thank you so much for that, Thunder Duck, who's with us so regularly in the mornings, and a beautiful video from the Lisbon Oceanarium. And Hank agreeing, the Oceanarium is awesome. And we popped back there. We walked past it the other day when we were staying in Lisbon. And just outside there, there's so much to do. You know, on that Park of Nations, Porto Nações area of Lisbon. It's so fantastic. Get the train to Orient and then come out, and you can pretty much spend the whole day around there, including a visit to the Oceanarium. So Thunder, thank you very much indeed. That was superb. And hopefully we can put that up on its own as well on the YouTube channel. It'd be lovely if you'll allow us to do that. I'm in 3 of the respective membership areas, but usually stick to Facebook unless notifications for the shows don't appear on Facebook. I mean, here's the thing. I mean, we live in an age, don't we, where a lot of the time it's like joining another platform is like having another wafer thin mint in Monty Python terms. You're thinking, do I really want to join another thing? I totally understand that. So one way of us dealing with this is to stream the show on our own website, which we're looking into. So that could be good, couldn't it? And you could be taking part in the forum whilst chatting in the forum and watching the show. And let me just share with you what let's have a look at some of the most recent forum posts, shall we? You can play the shows as a website. Sorry, as a podcast from the website. So what have we got? Let's take a bit of a pick here. And we've got the Premium Plus members. There's the private forum for them is there. Just a reminder to all of you on the Expats Portugal plan, your private forum is there with all the latest content. International Women's Group /Club. So about those tour shirts, which we're going to have a look at in a moment. Soliloquies from Cindy B, a solo scouting trip. That sounds good. This sounds intriguing, doesn't it? FBI criminal record, Schwab or Millennium, Wise and Millennium. We heard about Wise, didn't we, from Sarah earlier on? And best rates to transfer sterling pounds into euros. So these issues and more over there on the forum. So you know what to do. Join that for free. or upgrade to a premium member, and that really helps us. It helps everybody if you do that. So yeah, do let us know what you think of the forum. What is that structure over your right shoulder? Looks like something from a zoo. I like the architecture very much of these villas here, Garvo. And Garvo, while we're about it, can you describe the food? I'm about to show the dinner table and some people ready to eat by the look of them and enjoying the feast that Owen cooked. But we haven't got any actual sort of pack shots, have we, of the food? I know food is notoriously hard to photograph. You know how some people very proudly put up a picture of their beef stew they made, and it just looks like a bowl of dog food. To them, it looks amazing because they've tasted it, but to the rest of us, it's like, ooh, what happened there? So if you could describe for us, if you could paint a bit of a picture with words, Gary, of what Owen cooked up for you on a couple of pictures that I'm just about to show to promote his service. We're all about the Portuguese experiences today. I'm having one here at Martin Jarl. We're going to talk about the distinguished gentleman's experience you can have, which sounds a bit, do you want to put it like that? How you can have Owen cook in your own home, and how you can have a trip to the Oceanarium. This is all people from our own community, and that's why I'm celebrating here this morning. And we've got some photos just in as well that I will share too. Never seen anything like it. It was amazing. Says Hank of the Oceanarium. Can't wait to see the video. Okay, we've done it now. Carl, your hair is starting to channel Andrew. Yes, there you go. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, I don't know what to do about it. And I feel bad now. When I was a younger man with a real mop of hair, I used to find it quite amusing, giggling about wigs and stuff like that and comb overs. And here I am now cherishing each and every strand as I comb it from one ear to the other, like Rab Nesbitt. James, just go to number one and goatee. Embrace the bald. I have done that from time to time, but really a goatee as well. That's James's coiffeur advice to me. I do shave it off from time to time and end up with more down here than on top. Hey, Matty, isn't it crazy how easy it is to put on weight there, says Hank. So much good food, so true. Like the atomium in Brussels, you mean, Carl, about the structure over the pool. Over the pool, not the pool. Sorry, I was distracted by the atomium in Brussels. And I'm thinking, what is that? Is that like a mineral that you find in Brussels sprouts? Eat Brussels sprouts because they're good for you. They've got selenium, zinc, and atomium in. I'm thinking more like, the Eden Project and the biomes that they have there. But it sounds like the atomium is just like that. The structure over the pool, not the fool. Geodesic was the word I'm looking for. Thank you, Thunder. To my rescue again. Geodesic is the word I'm looking for. Hashtag geodesic. And I mean, yeah, Buckminster Fuller, all that sort of stuff. Very exciting. Hank, the ocean area is really awesome, says Antonio F. For a couple with kids, the Lisbon Zoo is a good place to spend the whole day too after the pandemic is over. Some shows are still closed at the zoo. The Lisbon Zoo is pretty good, if zoos are your thing. Arrived at our farm in the Algarve. Doggy animal refusal. Oh, hold on. I need to cough as well. Sorry, somebody made me laugh there. And I'm still chuckling a little bit. Bear with me just a moment. Sorry, I was pressing the wrong button there. All I was going to do then was give you a full view of me coughing by nearly pressing the wrong button. But I'm such a pro, I managed to stop myself. Hold on, bear with me. Right, I spared you that. Arrived at our doggy farm. Arrived at our Algarve farm, and the doggy animal refusal at the ferry booth and sent home because the lady could not be bothered to read 77. Well, fair play. I mean, can you imagine being a border official and having to read 17 pages for everyone who arrives? Nightmare. But that sounds terrible for you. 100-mile drive to. Oh, okay. So before you got to Portugal, even, it sounds like you were sent back at the ferry port UK side. So you had to do a 100-mile drive. This is going on all over the place, isn't it? People being knocked back on flights because they haven't got the right testing thing. And look at this. That sounds really stressful. And I'm so glad you are now in the Algarve and just taking it easy. The Henrys. Dear, oh dear. Carl, the vacation is looking great on you, looking fresh and rested. Well, that's good to know, Hank. I'm not feeling it, but I'm loving being here, but we have been on quite a schedule just recently. I'm not complaining, by the way, either. But it's nice to know I'm looking fresh and rested. It's probably the backlighting that helps. Antonio, one of my favorite spots in Lisbon. Thanks for the tip on Lisbon Zoo. Connie loves zoos, and we'll have to check it out on our next visit. There you go. No, and we didn't meet, and it's a huge disappointment for me. Oh, that's the Hank and the Frank. I want that photo when it happens. It's because it's going to be a corker. Two of my friends are barbecue enthusiasts, and we had 3 barbecues in the house. I think we only managed to go out eating in a restaurant 4 or 5 times. So it sounds like you were quite paleo possibly on the barbecue there, Matty, and still managed to put on that 7 kilos. Also, the mother of my friend wanted us to eat at her place. There we go. There it is. It's the mother love. So with a sort of a moment on the lips and then a lifetime on the hips kind of thing. That mother love food can blow up your pot belly a bit. God, I'm not talking about you specifically, Matty. Everyone can suffer with that. So she wanted you to have lunch and dinner, which we did not that often. But you can't. I mean, you shouldn't turn down hospitality of that kind, especially in Portugal. You could hurt a mama's feelings doing that. Not a fan of the mullet myself, says Michelle. Mullet, but yes, there we go. Business on top, party at the back. I just don't bother to cut my hair. Just let it keep going, Thunder. I'm up for the motorcycle ride, says Francis. Garvo is the resident mullet expert. Says PB. Peter Bleach is here this morning. Pete, you're a bit partial to a comb over giggle as well, like me. Starting next January, motorcycles 125cc and over, says Antonio LF. We'll have to do a yearly inspection, like cars. Interesting. And Antonio, where do you get one of those? I think, is it called a fairing? Like not the one that is a sort of plastic and metal thing that goes on the front of a bike, but those old boys have in Portugal, and you see them in central Portugal, and it's like they're riding around on a moped, probably under 125, probably about 25 cc's, and you can hear them coming, and you can smell them. There's 2-stroke after they've gone, but they wear a massive piece of leather or rubber in front of them to stop them being hit by rain, whatever else, olives, whatever's flying through the air. Quite an extraordinary thing, which I've never seen anywhere else. Anna, I'm so sorry not to be seeing you on our whistle-stop tour of Cascais, but this is your manor, and I know I am treading on the hallowed ground that you are so lucky to inhabit for most of your life here. Anna Rita Vieira from our Oscar Expats team, Cascais resident, saying bon dia this morning. Good morning, Portugal Motorcycle Club ? I'll just say yes to that. Why wouldn't we? I have spent so much on Spot the Ball with best of the best to win a car. The modern Spot the Ball, that I could have bought a car with that. So there is a modern version of that, is there? It still goes on, does it? Spot the Ball. Amazing, Colin. And that sounds like you're not very good at it. I'm sorry to say, but what an amazing thing. Sorry for banging the table there, everybody. Andy, bon dia. Just back from a fabulous walk through the Silver Coast countryside with love from Andy there. Great to hear from you, Andy. And you and Jackie are very popular last week on the show on Move to Portugal Thursday. You well into 4 figures on YouTube there. Subscribe here, subscribe here. Paul Richards, Thunderduck, no fees, just a rate of exchange. That's not a reference about his hair, is it? That's about the Spartan effects there. Peter H, morning. Healthy move, Portugal. To Matty, just a fleeting appearance as we have Philomena Tuesday in 5 minutes. How's that going? I imagine it's wonderful working one-to-one with Philomena, although you've probably already gone off to do that. Garvo, yes, kebab and belinash each time. What a belinash? Plus the extra salad. The weight loss salad. Hi, Jerry and Astrid from Hank. That place is so amazing. I think you're talking about the video there, aren't you? Represents all of the oceans in the world with its species, says Antonio F. Thunder, look, the reviews are coming in for your video, mate. Stunning video. And I was thinking, I was loving the music as well. Just a little bit of a chill out with it, and an Ibiza sunrise and that music. Thank you very much for that, Thunder. Again, really good work. Thank you very much indeed. And so what is this wash hands thing? But Stephen did put his hands in here, was raving to that back in the UK. All shot on an iPhone, says Thunder, and processed in iMovie. Okay, you get the gig. You get the Azorish. Azorish, you get the gig for making Philomena's video. Okay, if you want it, Thunderduck. Beautiful video. Thank you from Jim. This wash hands. Is that a dance thing? I wonder. Wow, great video from Simon to you, Thunderduck. Antonio also putting his hands in the air and Paul loving the music too. How big is this thing? What? If they also have a great white shark in there, as the actress said to the bishop, I think, or was it the other way around? Matty asking there. Awesome video, says Cindy B. Very nice video, says Midlife Crisis at Thunderduck. Nice one, Thunderduck. Thunderduck, is this on your YouTube channel? Yes, absolutely. And Thunderduck needs more subscribers and views, I would say, given the amazing work that Thunder does. Do you want to put your the link to your channel in here, please, Thunder. Fab video, Thunder Duck from Kate. Sure. Put it anywhere you want. As also the actress said to the bishop. I've been a couple of times and definitely worth the trip with or without kids, says Midlife Crisis World Tour. That could be the Oceanarium or the zoo, couldn't it? Quite big. And has several independent aquariums as well, says Antonio. Elra, volume of the largest tank is 5,000 cubic meters, 180,000 cubic feet. It is huge, and you feel like you're standing in there with them, floor to ceiling. Are the panes of glass that contain that water with the sharks, and it is extraordinary. A one-stop shop platform for. I'm trying to do a Californian accent. I'll stop. For everything Expats Portugal would be great. So get it all on one platform. Interesting, Hank. Difficult to do when you're a provider of content because you want to meet every audience. But yeah, then you struggle, don't you, from the consumer's point of view? Yada, another blimmin' platform to join. I get it. The premium membership will save you far more than the cost of admission, says Thunder. Let's see how many we can get then. So anyone who's not a premium member, the pressure's on now. Don't like to do this to people, but I'm going to make an exception. Come on. If you enjoy the breakfast show, if you enjoy the other benefits of being a free member of Expats Portugal, why not dip into your pocket, into your wallet and splash out 47 euros? And as Thunder says there, you'll be saved far more than the cost of admission. So let's see if we can get a little bit of a spike in premium memberships this morning. Thank you very much, Thunder, for that. I'm also a member of a premium level on the Expats Portugal forum. Cheers, Matty. Appreciate that. I know how those fish feel going around in circles, a bit like trying to talk to Seth. Nicely worked in there, Paul, but started as a freebie. Yes, that's how it works. Try before you buy with Expats Portugal. That was the line, a lol for Paul from Thunder. That was the line at Seth there, as well as remembering before, about waiting. It comes to you in the end, your Seth appointment, that is. Jamaican, here we go. So let's just put the pictures up for this. And we have, this is a gathering at Garvo's. And this gentleman looks ready, doesn't he? He's got his beer in his hand and the food's coming out. And this is a showcase of Garvo's excellent work as well. I think that was just a shell of a room, wasn't it, before you got your hands on it, Mr. Austin? Garvo, man of reason and remarkable handyman. And there on the right-hand side of your screen is a gentleman we've had on this screen as well, Mr. Terence Austin, the great artist, formerly of the Silver Coast, and a great chap. And talked about photography, property photography. So what we had there is Jamaican style jerk chicken with rice and beans cooked with bacon. My mouth is watering already. Served with sweet potato, carrots, and a fresh salad. And the very modest cook is out of the picture, and we don't have any close-ups, but I think that's good enough in it to give you the idea of what's going on and to tell you that Owen is available to cater at your house, I believe is how he operates. What is he called? The Food Alchemist. Is that what he is on Facebook, Gary? If you wouldn't mind furnishing us with that info as well. Paul, you're so right. Seth are infuriating and hopeless, says Kate. It's turning into a Seth bashing session. Wouldn't it be great if we could get an official from Seth just to talk to us and let us know what's happening and maybe get a few of the community further up the queue while we're about it. Yes, that video is on my channel along with a few others, says Thunder. So put the link in, please, Thunder Duck. Sent you another pic on WhatsApp, Matty. It is the Atomium in Brussels. So we'll finish with those, folks. It's 10:15. Look, didn't want to overdo it and go into full photographic mode because I just wanted to eat the lovely food. Yeah, absolutely right. Totally understand that, Garvo. There are two versions of the Oceanarium video. The other has Eric Satie music, which YouTube flagged for copyright, but I don't monetize. I made the second version for Carl, says Thunder there, and I appreciate you doing that, going to that trouble. So yes, subscriptions are coming in for you there. That's fantastic. Talk of pulled pork in just a moment. My first experience of distance working from Portugal for my UK employer. This will be my future soon. Excellent. I hope that goes well. Talking to Sarah about remote working and so on. Some HR teams in companies now are precluding people from working abroad. It's specifically in some. Why do HR people have to spoil all the fun all the time? And I imagine there was one precedent that caused them to put this into contracts worldwide. But some companies are actually saying that you're not allowed to work from abroad. What's that about? Portuguese, they're killing our fun. Portuguese passport control didn't ask to see a Vax record, isolator form, or a test result. An interesting info there. You've got to have it all, haven't you? But as I've heard said before, you will look at this stuff because it's cost me a fortune. But no, come through, as though it doesn't matter at all. Great vid, Thunderduck from Francis. Wash hands. I thought I was clapping. Not good with emojis. I think it's just the translation that comes up. Not your fault, Andrea. And Antonio saying clapping hands is a bit down the emoji list. Thank you, Antonio. Emoji coaching as well this morning. Beer in one hand, wine in the other. Needs a third hand for the food. That chap in the picture there. Wine in one hand, beer in the other. Let's find him again, because I didn't notice that. I saw his beer in one hand. Yes, look at him. He's got wine and he's got beer. And he's wanting probably say, can someone feed me now, please? I'm not letting go of these two. That's fantastic. Well spotted, everybody. Very good. What is the name of the sandwich with meat and gravy? That's the francesina, isn't it? Linda and Lewis. I think Porto and Braga. Bragg, who has the best. Yeah, francesina is associated, I think, more with Porto, to be fair. Yeah, there you go, francesina. The pulled pork sandwich. It's got pulled pork in it. It's got every kind of meat in there, underneath the cheese, beer sauce, toast, bread, French stick, and everything, and wafer thin mint, of course, obviously, to finish off with. Sorry, where is this restaurant? It's not. It looks like a restaurant, doesn't it? How brilliantly it's been done there. But that's Gary's house, everybody. And when are you opening? Where is Owen? Yes, good question. He's in central Portugal, Maxine. Gary Garvo, yes, search FB for the Food Alchemist and you'll find him there. Thank you for that, Gary. I recommend the expats community, responsive, respectful, polite, and helpful. Oh, good on you, Simon. Thank you very much for that. Thanks all. Which city or restaurant has the best francesina? Okay, Q deluge of recommendations there. That's a hard one to call. Many Porto restaurants will have that, but as do so many restaurants all across Portugal. Nobody asked us at any border in any direction for any COVID-related papers or info. Everything's working then. Thanks for that, Matty. Fellowship, Palantir Fellowship from Elra. It's authentic. The authentic francesina is from Porto. The best depends on taste, because there's even a vegan one, but not many people want to go there. We did travel with a car, so different if you fly, says Matty, regarding the paperwork. Organiciado in Lisbon occasionally has a great. There you go. There's the vegan francesina there. What does it have? Seitan, tofu, and every conceivable vegetable in there under a mock cheese topping. Interesting. Suggest trying them all. There's this solution for you. Make that your YouTube channel. The Francesinas of Portugal. Jim Thunderduck, what is your YouTube site? Yeah, so we need a direct link, I think, but don't try it all in the same day. Absolutely, says Antonio F. One Francesina a day is enough for any mortal, I think. Joao F. Another suggestion for a Portugal experience: have snacks or just a cup of coffee. Moinho Don Quixote. Quixote. How did a Portuguese pronounce that? Would that be Quixote? Bar in Azuia near Cabo da Roja. A stunning view of the ocean from a green environment. Thank you for that, Joao F. Now, talking of Joao F, let's go to the distinguished gentleman's business. And there it is. I'll need to take that off the screen so you can see that. There you go. The distinguished gentleman's drive. And I need to scroll back to get a little bit of info for you from Joao F. This is some way back in our conversation, Joao, isn't it? And because I need to find out the itinerary. Yes, Joao F, a remarkable man with a Morgan vehicle who's going to be at the Clásicos event, supported by ACP. Phone not connected. Has my phone gone, which will make this impossible? No, it's okay, everybody. Don't worry. My picture of Mrs. Emma's come up on the screen, which is always a welcome sight. But I thought my phone had gone there, so I wasn't going to be able to do this. So I need to sync up WhatsApp back with you on the laptop screen here, so that I can scroll back and see exactly what the itinerary is for the event that's coming up. Is this coming back? Okay, we've got a mullet picture as well, just so that Maxine can absolutely see what's going on. I'm going to download that. Is that the tiger guy with the mullet? I think it is, isn't it? The atomium breast. Wow, that's incredible. And not quite what the swimming pool looks like, but we've got to show that picture as well. I'm just downloading a load of pictures, everybody. The utter pro that I am, and I've got to, because the snap from this morning's walk, thanks to Andy, is absolutely beautiful. However, back to Joao F's conversation with me from some time ago, and I did overlook this from time to time. Oh, actually, I've got to give you a picture of me with my tash as well. that I did manage to grow. Now it's disappearing on top. Seems only right that I can boast a bit about what else, with the hair growing on the rest of my body. Maybe not too much. That doesn't sound quite right. But this distinguished, that's what we were talking about, the distinguished gentleman's ride, 900, this coming Sunday, the 26th, right? Let's make sure we've got that right. Gathering between 9 and 10, gathering of the participants at the Museo Nacional de Coche in Belém. 10:30 driving trip through the Avenida Marginal along the coast heading to Cascais. What a sight that will be. And then at 11:30, the farewell from that event. So that is going to be an amazing spectacle to see in Lisbon this weekend, isn't it? From the Coach Museum out to Cascais, all these distinguished gentlemen and their classic motor vehicles. So thank you very much for the heads up on that. A fine Portuguese experience to be having. Thank you very much indeed. And also from Usual, a picture of the Atlantic from Ericeira, which we don't talk about enough. Colin, of course, community member over that way in Ericeira. And I think you two gentlemen made each other's acquaintance because of your shared interest in motor vehicles. Francis sent in this. Look at this, a picture in Fatima. That's a really great picture. You have got such a great eye. I think it's your business, isn't it, Francis, taking photos? But that's a corker, modern architecture and ancient sort of religious iconography all in one picture there. And somebody strolling across that amazing landscape at Fatima there. They're not on their knees. They're not making the final part of their journey. It looks like a fairly upright and leisurely approach to the sanctuary at Fatima there. You also sent in, Francis, a picture of a motorcycle. You're into the cafe racing, and this is yours, I believe. That's a beautiful looking vehicle, isn't it? And here's Matty's, which he describes as naked. Are you missing a bit there? Or do you ride that naked? I don't know. Remember to sit on a towel, Matty, if that's what you're doing. To the T-shirts, folks. Here we go. Mentioned yesterday that when Connie and Hank return to Portugal, they might make a tour shirt. Here it is. Look at that. Connie and Hank Bon Dia Tour 2021. And on the, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this well enough, but look, it's like a proper bit of merch from a tour. That's fantastic. Are they available? Is that a bit of a tongue-in-cheek thing, or are you actually marketing these, Connie and Hank? And we've got to do something like that, haven't we, with Expats Portugal? And let's see what else. We've got to look at Andy's walk this morning. Let's go to the rest of the photographs from this morning. We've got a picture of a mullet, which I'll let you look at, but maybe not for too long because it's quite disturbing. There you go, Maxine. That's what a good mullet. I mean, I use those words together advisedly, but that's a pretty awesome mullet arrangement there with some peroxide highlights and a tash to. He does look entirely happy about what's going on in his life there, but maybe he's just been arrested. The photo would suggest that, wouldn't it? Here's is it called the Atomium? What a remarkable thing in Brussels. What's that about? Can you ride on it? Can you eat in it? Or do you just look and marvel at it there? Thank you for that, Matty, this morning. Here's me with my tash. How do you like this? I think I'd look good sat alongside Joao F. Cravat. And apologies to true service personnel who might find it a bit offensive, me even daring to wear an RAF cap there. But that's when I grew that tash. And many people advised me to shave it off again. I thought it looked like Tom Selleck, quite frankly. And why don't a few of us do that at the right time of year? Is it Movember coming up, isn't it? We could all grow Selleck style tashes. Here's Andy's walk this morning. Thank you very much for this, Andy. Out and about in the Aveiro district of Portugal. Beautiful. That looks very autumnal, doesn't it? And that's you looking at a brook there, which looks like it's been recently cleaned. All the water has returned to it after a dry and parched summer. Final image then this morning is little Minnie. Queen Minnie, or Princess Minnie, right? Here we are having our breakfast this morning. Did I mention I was at a Martignal Resort Cascais? Here's little Minnie. Look at her enjoying her. Look, she's eating some healthy stuff. There's a bit of watermelon and some grapes, but they're all dipped in a little bowl of chocolate. She's got some fresh juice there. And at that particular moment there in the picture, you can see with her tiara on, she was saying to me, "Dad, why have you put this pastel de nata on my plate?" My daughters speak to me. I think as daughters talk to dads in the most direct and sometimes offensive manner, or offended. They're not offensive. They're constantly offended by me and a lot of what I say and do. And she's like, "Why is this mini pastel de nata on my plate? Have a bite." and you'll see. And there she is, having a bite on a mini pastel de nata and going into a sort of heavenly trance of delight there. What a lovely memory to have made at Martignan here. So thank you all very much this morning. Final comments then. Let's just take a look at them. And Maxine, I think, is completely up to speed now on mullets. Remember that guy you dated with one of those, Maxine? Maybe, I don't know. It's full of fake meat, says Thunder, of the vegan. Oh, it has got tofu and seitan in it. Seitan is such a... I mean, it kind of does what it says on the tin, to be fair, from my experience of it, but not a good bit of marketing, that, is it, to call your fake meat seitan? Joao F. Oh, yeah, so we've done that. We've done that lovely view from the Moinho Dom Kyoto Bar in Azoya. X is read as a yes, so Kiyosh. Oh, hold on a minute. Let me try that again. So that would be Kijot. Okay. Andrea Hogan, another fantastic show. Thanks all so much. Thank you for your indulgence. We're nearly 90 minutes in, for heaven's sakes. Carl, the X in Portuguese, a bit like El Gish, right? Can have several sounds in Quixote. It is like, so Kiosh. Okay, that's good. Francis, I could really do with a Francesina right now. Your namesake almost dish here in Portugal. I think I can make it my monthly cheat treat. Portuguese people have no such hang-ups, Francis. You know, that's a weekly treat for a lot of Portuguese people, isn't it? I guess you could gain a lot of weight if you ate a steady diet of Francesina, says Linda there. I could do with the Terrassin PT about 24 hours ago, which was about the moment we arrived in the Netherlands. What does that mean, I wonder? Palanta Fellowship, yes, for sure, on the old Francesina business. I know nothing about gaining weight in Portugal. Whistling innocently. Yes, you're gonna have to. It's gonna take a while to live that down, but it'll blow over. Don't worry. Those are some gorgeous bikes. Really cool, says Hank. Yes, video is my main business, but those are two cafe racers I spotted on the streets of Porto. Oh, thanks for that. It's tongue in cheek. The t-shirts, they were just a nerdy thing we did for ourselves as a memento. Absolutely brilliant, though, Hank. You have just put that mullet on your shoulders. No, I didn't, Stephen. It is not my bike, just a pic I got from the internet, says Matty. Okay, so someone else's bike immortalized on our show today. I will build a cafe racer at some point, says Hank. I believe the Atomium hosts a restaurant, but not sure. Never been there. Hey, says Maxine, with a hey of recognition, right? And no, thank you, Select Tash. I rather the Ferrari. Okay, so is that a different kind of tash, or you want a car instead of a moustache? I mean, given that choice, most people would, wouldn't they? Wow, Carl, just wow, says Maxine. Hank, you certainly know how to speak to the heart of the Portuguese. Loved your t-shirts, says Joao F. A good mullet is an oxymoron for sure. That's the word I was looking for, isn't it? Yeah. Another fantastic show in the can. Thanks for helping end the day right, says Hank. A pleasure. Absolute pleasure here. Glad you liked it. Going to work on them a little longer. Feel free to message me any suggestions on those Bon Dia Tour t-shirts from the Stalicas. Have a lovely day, everyone. Places to go and pick. Absolutely. Come on. We've all got stuff to do, folks, haven't we? Let's crack on with it. I think the essence is good. Hank, add backup band, the Kardashians. Yes, of course. Thank you for your kind words, Carl. Have a wonderful day. I'll take a weekly cheat. Yes, go on. Yeah, do that weekly rather than monthly. Come on. Otherwise, what are we here for? To enjoy our lives. That would be great, says Hank. And final comment, Beverly. I went on a school trip and remember being so bored. Now, where was that, Beverly? Surely not to the Oceanarium. Which school trip would that have been? We're going to leave that hanging there, I think. Was it on a distinguished gentleman's tour or something like that? I don't know. I'm not sure what she's referring to, but I'm going to play the end music anyway and look forward to seeing you in the morning. Tomorrow morning. It's very likely that the show is going to be from 8 o'clock. So only those of you who've dared stay this long will know that. And those of you who aren't here will be tuned in at about 10 o'clock thinking, where on earth is he? And I'll have done and gone by that time. So we're looking at doing an 8 till 9 show tomorrow so we can get on the road. Of course, you can always catch up with that in case you miss it. But those of you in the know now, I'll see you at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Take care and bye for now. Have a great day. Ciao, ciao.